Hi, I'm Emily Morris, a DLS at CFBISD. I wanted to show you a Google Sheet formula that I use all of the time. This is the filter formula, and you can use the filter formula for lots of different uses. It's best used when you have one tab of data that you then want to split out into different tabs based on a criteria. So maybe you have data for the whole team that you want to split out to specific teachers. Maybe you have data for multiple tests or things that you then want to split out into different periods. Maybe you want to split it out based on the score that students received, so that you have a list of all the students that need specific small group lessons. So let's go ahead and get started. I am first in, I'm going to be using this example sheet. This is something that our DLS team uses to collect information and split out for each of us based on our campus. So this one, the data is pulled from a Google Sheet. You don't have to have data pulled from a Google form. You don't have to have data pulled from a Google form. It can come from wherever. I want to filter my data based on column C. So I want to separate my data based on the campus that these responses came from. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create tabs down at the bottom based on how I want my data filtered. So I want all my Creekview data to go here, Turner, Smith. You'll notice we have some with multiple criteria, and we'll talk about how to do that as well. The next thing I want to point out is that I would highly recommend your master tab that has all of the data in it. Whatever you have it named, remove any spaces from that name. Sometimes sheets formulas don't quite know how to act with spaces, so it's better to just remove them all and remove that possible obstacle. So I'm going to go into my first tab. Instead of writing the whole formula out again, I have it here to show you. The first thing you're going to want to do, though, is copy and paste your headers. Those aren't going to automatically come over. So I would just Control C, and then come over here and Control V. And I like to bold it, so I'm going to bold it. And I'm going to format it so that my text is wrapped. You're going to want to write your formula after you've put your headers in cell A2. In A2, you're going to hit type equal filter, and then we'll be able to write out our formula. So the first thing you want to write out is your range. Where is all of this data that you are wanting to pull from? And also, what data do you want spit out? So I want my formula to look in my master sheet. So I type out the name of my master sheet with an exclamation point next to it. Mine is form responses. I do exclamation point. And then I put in where the data is found. So the data is going to begin in cell A2, and it's going to go all the way through to column E. If you don't put a cell number next to that E, it's just going to keep looking down column E. That's really useful for me because my data is coming from form responses that are updating all the time. So I don't know how far down I want the formula to look. So I'm just going to put the whole column letter. Then I'm going to start, comma, space, I'm going to be able to write in my condition. So what do I want it to look for? I want it to look from A2 to E, and I want it to look specifically in form responses. Go back to that spot. And I want it to give me all data where column C, so you could do C2 to C. You could also write C to C, and that would probably work as well. Where it's Creek View. And notice I have quotation marks around my text. If you were doing a formula and you were looking for all things that scored 70 or above, or that got question 1 wrong, you could put your text in quotations, but if you were dealing with like a number, you could say 70. Oops. And that would work as well. And then it will spit out information from A2 to E when C equals Creek View. Now, if I have more than one criteria I want to use, so here on this tab, I have 2 criteria I want to look for. I still enter my filter and I enter where I want it to look for the data, which is on form responses, A2 to E. But now I've got 2 criteria, so I put each criteria in their own parentheses. I'm looking for, from C2 to C, anytime that it says Blaylock, and that's what the plus sign is for, anytime that it says Bush. And you can just add that. More criteria, whatever criteria you have. So that's what I've got there. How to do multiple criteria. And then if you'll see, there's just a quick glimpse at how many criteria you can actually put in a formula. You can put more than this, but this one has several. So there you go. That's how you can use the filter formula to take a big list of data and filter it down into smaller, more manageable chunks in different tabs. Please reach out to your DLS if you have any questions.